Seriously. Put the phone down, cancel whatever you had planned, and give me the next few minutes, because what just happened on that grandstand court is the kind of thing that only comes around once in a generation, and if you scroll past this, you will regret it for the rest of your sporting life. The tennis establishment, the boardroom executives, the seasoned veterans who thought they had this all figured out, every single one of them just watched their worst nightmare walk off that court with a racket in her hand and a smile on her face. They thought they had her. They genuinely believed the fairy tale was finally going to end today. They were catastrophically wrong. The round of 16. Alexandra Eala's name sitting right next to Magdalena Magda Linette, a battle-hardened, gritty, seen-it-all European veteran who has survived every storm the WTA Tour has ever thrown at her. The media went on national television and told everyone watching that this was going to be the moment reality finally caught up with the 20-year-old Filipina. They said Linette's experience would expose her youth. They said the grandstand pressure would crack the Nadal Academy prodigy wide open. They were not just wrong. They were publicly, violently, historically humiliated in front of the entire world. So before you keep scrolling, do you actually know what that scoreline revealed about Ayala that the commentators completely refused to say out loud? Because the number I'm about to show you should not be physically possible. What you are looking at right now is not just a tennis scorecard. This is a forensic document. This is certified evidence of a psychological assassination carried out in broad daylight on a professional tennis court. Alexandra Eala dismantled Magda Linette 6-3, 7-6. Clean. Clinical. Devastating. But if you think a straight-set scoreline tells you the real story of what happened inside that arena today, you have absolutely no idea how deep this goes. We have to tear away the spin. We have to ignore the desperate excuses the commentators were stammering through in real time. We have to go straight into the statistics, because when you look at these numbers closely, really closely, what they reveal is a level of dominance that is currently triggering panic attacks in the WTA executive suites. And it all starts with one single statistic that will permanently rewire the way you watch tennis. Are you ready? Because this number breaks the sport. Alexandra Eala won 86% of her second serve points. Read that again. 86%. On her second serve. In professional tennis, the second serve is supposed to be the moment the returner pounces. It is the bleeding wound. The vulnerability every opponent trains specifically to exploit. The greatest servers in the history of this sport, players with terrifying power and decades of experience, typically hover around 50 to 55% on their second serves against elite returners. A 60% second serve win rate is considered exceptional. A phenomenal day. But Ayala hit 86%. So here is the question every tennis analyst is quietly losing sleep over right now. How is that even tactically possible? Because the answer tells you everything about who this girl actually is. When Ayala missed her first serve, which happened 36% of the time, she did not panic. Her arm did not tighten. Her heart rate did not spike. She simply picked up the second ball, tossed it, and delivered a serve so loaded with suffocating Mallorca topspin that Linette was completely paralyzed at the baseline before the rally even started. Close your eyes for a second and imagine being Magda Linette in that match. You are 34 years old. You have played hundreds of professional matches. You have survived everything. You wait patiently for the rookie to miss a first serve. The umpire calls fault. You step inside the baseline, grip your racket, ready to attack, and then Ayala's second serve kicks up to your shoulder with the weight of a bowling ball. You push it back defensively, and before your feet are even set, she is already planted on the baseline, ripping a forehand winner past your ear. 86% of the time, when Linette thought she had found a window, Ayala slammed a titanium door directly onto her fingers. Think about what that does to a veteran's mind. You cannot win a point even when your opponent makes a mistake. Does that sound like someone who is supposed to be the underdog in this match? And now look at what Linette managed on her own second serve. 58%. When the veteran missed a first serve, she was actively bleeding out on the court. When Ayala missed a first serve, she was still executing an offensive strike. The gap between these two players was not close. It was not competitive. It was a canyon. Now let's talk about how this match actually unfolded, because the game-by-game breakdown is where it gets truly brutal. The media predicted Linette would start strong, use her slice and courtcraft, and slowly suffocate the younger player with experience. Instead, Eala came out and strung together 5 consecutive games. Not 4. 5. She did not beat Linette in that opening sequence. She suffocated her. She locked her in a baseline chokehold and refused to let her breathe. And Linette's maximum run for the entire match? 3 games. Every single time the veteran tried to build momentum, every single time she tried to get the crowd involved and claw her way back, Eala downloaded her timing, stared her down, and hit a forehand so heavy it practically ripped the racket out of Linette's hands. 24 receiving points won by Eala. 5 break point opportunities created. 2 converted, both at the exact moments that mattered most. But the moment that permanently separated Alexandra Eala from every other talented young player on this tour? That happened at the very end of the second set. And if you think the 86% was impressive, what she did next will make your jaw drop.
A lot of big stages, which I am so grateful for and wouldn't trade for the world. But being back in the 4th round, it makes me feel the same as I did last year. I'm so happy, I'm so excited, and it's such a privilege to be back in Miami.
Well, it is so great to have you here. Let's hear it one more time. Alex Ayala. Good sign serves delivered today. It's the official on-demand delivery and pickup platform of the Miami Open.
So the young superstar from the Philippines continues to delight her fans even here in Miami, Nico.
And you just saw her words. You just saw why she's so well liked everywhere. Goes beyond tennis. She is an unbelievable player, but poised beyond her.
The score was tied 6-6. A tiebreak. The ultimate pressure cooker. The exact territory where veterans are supposed to absolutely thrive, where experience, trickery, and ice-cold nerve are supposed to completely overwhelm raw youth. Linette genuinely believed that if she could just drag this 20-year-old into a second-set tiebreak under the stadium lights, the young Filipina would finally crack. She thought she had her trapped. She thought the pressure would tighten Eala's arm. She was so tragically, historically wrong that what happened next should be required viewing for every aspiring professional tennis player on the planet. Alexandra Eala did not crack. She did not fold. She did not hesitate for even a single second. When that tiebreak began, she flipped a psychological switch that most human beings simply do not possess. She channeled the dead-eyed, stone-cold focus of her mentor Rafael Nadal, looked at the scoreboard, looked at the veteran across the net, and executed a cold-blooded clinical massacre. Eala destroyed Linette in the tiebreak 7-2. In the highest pressure moment of the entire tournament, against a player fighting desperately for her survival, Eala only allowed her 2 points. She went on a 7-point run in a row. She ran the table when everything was on the line. Now ask yourself this honestly. When was the last time you watched any 20-year-old do that to a seasoned veteran on a grandstand stage? Because this is not normal. This is not just talent. This is something different. Imagine the despair inside Linette's mind at that moment. You grind for over an hour to force a tiebreak. You pour every ounce of physical and mental energy you have left into taking the set the distance. You wipe the sweat off your face. You step up to the line. And the 20-year-old completely obliterates you, hitting winners past you like you are a stationary practice cone. The final numbers tell a story that leaves absolutely no room for debate. Eala won 71 total points to Linette's 59. Eala won 13 total games to Linette's 9. Eala won 10 service games. Eala won 47 service points. Every single statistical metric, tempo control, baseline dominance, psychological pressure, breakpoint conversion, leaned violently and unapologetically towards the absolute pride of the Philippines. And right now, in the WTA locker room, the fallout from this performance is nothing short of nuclear. The encrypted group chats are on fire. The top 10 seeds are sitting in the players' lounge staring at the monitors, watching this 20-year-old systematically dismantle a tough, gritty veteran with an impossible 86% second serve win rate, and they are feeling something deep and sickening in their stomachs. Not anger. Not disbelief. Inevitability. They tried sending power hitters to blow her off the court. She absorbed the pace and made them quit. They tried sending experienced battle-tested veterans to outsmart her. She outgrinded them, dragged them into tiebreaks, and humiliated them 7-2. So what exactly is the WTA establishment supposed to do now? Is there a single player left on this tour who has an actual answer for what Eala is doing? Because here is what makes her genuinely impossible to game plan against. She has no mechanical weaknesses. None. You cannot exploit her second serve. You cannot rattle her in a tiebreak. You cannot break her mind under pressure. And she has the psychological architecture of Rafael Nadal built directly into her operating system. How do you scheme against that? You don't. You can't. You just look at the draw, see her name next to yours, and start thinking about whether a mysterious knee injury might save you from the public humiliation of being dismantled on international television. The corporate sponsors are sweating. The media executives are pacing their New York control rooms, unable to manufacture a narrative that contains this anymore. They cannot build an American or European hero fast enough to stop this Filipina juggernaut. She survived the qualifiers. She survived the deep water. She survived the veterans. And now she stands in the final stages of this tournament, completely refreshed, mentally impenetrable, and ready to deliver an absolute masterpiece of destruction on whoever is unlucky enough to draw her name next. But the most terrifying weapon Eala possesses does not even appear anywhere on that stat sheet. It is the Eala army. When she walked onto that grandstand court today, she did not walk out there alone. She walked out with millions of Filipinos standing right behind her baseline. When she hit those massive second serves, the stadium erupted. When she hit that final winner in the tiebreak, the noise physically shook the camera lenses. She is turning every stadium in the world into a home game in Manila. She is weaponizing crowd energy in a way that is suffocating her opponents before a single ball is even struck. This is the moment the torch gets ripped, violently and unapologetically, from the hands of the old establishment. The era of the media deciding who holds the trophy is over. Alexandra Eala is not the future of women's tennis anymore. She is the terrifying, unstoppable present. She is the final boss. And the revolution is not coming. The revolution is already here, and the establishment is locked in the cage with her. She is taking absolutely no prisoners. So tell me, who on this entire tour stops her now?